get this party started. A little wayward sun there for you on this sunny Tuesday. Thanks for being here, team. We have a great sales meeting today. We are going to be hammering a subject, two subjects really that are near and dear to my heart and your business. One is scripts. The second piece is your sphere, more affectionately referred to as your database. And we have bold coach Eddie Donnelly in the house, and he's going to be popping on at the top of the hour, the bottom of the hour at 1:30 thereabouts. We're going to dive into what does he do when he's calling his sphere? What are the scripts he uses? How does he prepare? What does execution look like? And get you all equipped to be able to do that very same thing. As we begin every week, we're going to begin this week with a review of the Y4C2Ts. These are known as the beliefs of Keller Williams. And I think that this week, a good one to talk about would be the second T, which is trust, starts with honesty. I think that we are in we're in a new market. It's a different market than it was a year ago or even 2 years ago. And our goal here is to build real estate businesses that allow us to be someone's realtor for life. And when we take the approach of having what might seem like the hard conversations, what I'll call are the honest conversations with our clients, with our sphere, with our database, and with any customer about what's happening in the market, what the market looks like, what it would mean for them to buy, sell, or invest in real estate at this time. We are building a relationship on a foundation of trust. We're starting with authenticity. And to do that, we need to know our stuff. We need to be real estate professionals. And it is something that I will always endeavor to do for you, is to provide you with information and education around the real estate industry that you can take into conversation with your sphere, with your database, with your clients, and with your customers, so that you are the real estate expert of choice. You are the local economist for those folks. And I posted something in the Facebook group earlier today, and I wanted to revisit it, which is just a quick word on the market. And I want to encourage everybody to go grab these slides off the Facebook group, make a post about them, put them in your buyer packet, put them in your listing packet, and really help people understand that the narrative that is taking place across the country is not reality, right? When you look at, now this was something that came into my inbox on Monday, right? If you love data and you love infographics, you will love Charter. We should have them sponsor one of these sales meetings. They have great content every day around about anything you could imagine, right? And invariably, the housing industry will show up in their infographics. And so this is showing the last 37 years or so of affordability, right? So cost of money, monthly payments, housing values, all those things factor into affordability. And as you can see, there were periods of times where things were less affordable, and then they were more affordable. And then this headline says it's the worst market for buyers, home buyers in decades because affordability is so low, right? It's so low versus what it historically has been. Now, if I'm a consumer and I read that, if I'm renting and I read that, or somebody tells me that, and I don't have, I don't have a Brooke Shedden or a Christina Paramore or an Andrew Ginter in my corner helping me understand what's actually happening, I probably say, yeah, go ahead, renew the lease. That's fine. I'll just, when things get more affordable, I'll buy. But then you turn the page and you look at this great little stat put out by Moody's Analytics. And what they say is, hey, you know what? The most affordable place in the entire United States to buy a home right now is Cleveland, Ohio. So if I am a buyer right now, there is literally nowhere else in the world that I could live and earn a median income and buy more house. So I'm probably tearing up my lease. I'm telling my landlord exactly when I'm moving out, and I'm calling up my agent to go buy. The other thing I want you to really wrap your heads around, and this is a phenomenon that applies to every industry, applies to politics, it applies to education, applies to everything. As you get to the coast, things typically get a little bit rougher. Now look at the bottom four from an affordability index, right? Los Angeles, San Diego, San Jose, and San Francisco. What I want you to think about, you don't have to be a statistician or a mathematician to know this, but more people live in those places, which means that the impact of affordability on those places with more buyers and with more people in them, it weighs differently on the system than what is happening in Cleveland, Ohio. So these statistics, the statistics of the national average, I'm not going to call them wholly and fully irrelevant, but they are barely contextual for the conversations that we want to be having with our customers and our clients and the people in our database. The opportunity that we have is to control the narrative, to get in front of it, and to be a source of information for our people such that they make the best financial decisions. It's only when we know and understand this that we can come from really sure footing and build relationships based on trust. So please, like I said, these are in the Facebook group. We'll send them out as follow-up to this meeting as well. A huge opportunity to create movement in the minds of your people when we show how starkly different things are for us in Northeast Ohio versus the rest of the world, wherever they are. All right, now we're going to kick it over to, where'd she go? To Allison Benoit. Oh, there she is. It's hiding on Julia's screen. Allison's going to talk to us about a very special component of our Keller Williams culture, which is Red Day.
Hey, welcome everybody. It is almost Red Day season. Red Day stands for Renew, Energize, and Donate. And Keller Williams all over the world has been participating in this day of service the second Thursday of every May since 2009. And our brokerage is one of the biggest in terms of number of agents that participate. So it is a great day. It's a great opportunity for you to reach out to your sphere, talk to them about what you're doing. In Command, there is a graphic that I put in the Facebook page. If you guys want to jump in there and do your own, it's a great way to let people know that you're doing a day of service. This year, we are going to a couple of our favorites. Fan favorite is Fatima, where we will dance in the parking lot and serve lunch and occasionally play bingo. MedWish, you sort medical supplies in a really cool high energy environment. It's amazing what they do with a warehouse there at MedWish. It is, we have two shifts, one in the afternoon and one in the morning. The City Mission, we're going to do some yard work there. For you East Siders, the YMCA on the corner of Richmond and Mayfield, we're doing yard work and interior painting. Georgia's House is a woman's shelter that Pete Formica had introduced us to several years ago. So those of you on the west side, you can help out with that. The Chase Group always does their own thing on the west side. Typically, theirs involves like big equipment, big construction equipment of some sort. Ronald McDonald House, we will be painting and helping out with mulching and gardening. We are going to do veteran lawn care on the far east side of Cleveland in Lake County. And we have a new charity called Cleveland Kids Books, where we are going to be sorting books here in our own offices. That will be something maybe for the agents that are dual career. We can grab some pizza and sort books one evening that week. So please join us. We will have an Eventbrite out shortly where you can sign up. We're happy for you all to participate.
Love that. How many sites is that then total this year?
8, 9, including the equipment with the Chase Group.
Nice. Well, we'll call it 8. Yeah, I don't know if I can publicly endorse jumping on heavy machinery with the Chase Group in my role. So thank you so much for that, Allison. And for anybody who has participated in Red Day, it's a wonderful day in a lot of different ways. One, we get to give where we live. We get to serve the communities all throughout Northeast Ohio that over the years have been so good to us. We get to be good to them too. I think, Allison, you brought up a great point. If you think people in your sphere are tired of hearing about you when it only about real estate, this is a great way to talk about who we are as a company, what we do, how we do it, why we do it, and what it means to be a realtor beyond just doing transactions. And then finally, the opportunity to get together and, get your hands dirty alongside one of your colleagues and one of your fellow Keller Williams agents is probably some of the most relished activities in the history of our company. We have a lot of fun. We've been known to have fun in this company, even when we are mulching and painting and sorting medical supplies, right? I see a head nod. I'll take that. All right, guys. So there is going to be a lot more information coming out about Red Day. We are but maybe 8 weeks away. And so this thing is going to come together rather quickly and pretty powerfully. And a big thanks to our KW Cares committee, who organizes, plans, staffs, and executes this opportunity. If you're interested in learning more, or you're interested in being involved with KW Cares, please reach out to Allison or Sam Krieger, Allison Benoit or Sam Krieger, about opportunities on that committee and opportunities for Red Day. Cool. All right, let's talk a little bit about some upcoming training. We have a great March training calendar. There's a ton going on here that I want to be able to unpack. We have to be close to sold out on Larry Wonke's live listing presentation. Guys, if you plan on taking a listing this year, I don't care if you may have taken 40 listings last year. Larry took more. And he is an incredibly talented, incredibly authentic person. And I would love to get you in the room to see this. It is from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. this Thursday, March 9th at the Pepper Pike office in our third floor training room. Please grab a ticket and please be there. This is going to be interactive. You're going to hear real, authentic, candid scripts and objection handlers that Larry used to list over 50 homes last year. And if you don't know Larry, he is a ton of fun. I promise we will have a really good time. You will take a ton of notes and you will get a feel for what does the world look like sitting at the kitchen table with a seller talking through what it means to what it means to sell their home. On the 13th and 27th of this month, we have our career nights. So in the Pepper Pike and Rocky River offices, respectively, we'll be hosting anyone that is currently licensed, currently in real estate classes, or just wanting to learn more about the opportunity to build a career and a business in real estate. We do those each month. Those are always a great time. you are welcome at them. If you have a guest coming, please join them. We love to have agents in the room. The next one will be in 6 days, a week from yesterday, on March 13th, 6:30 p.m. in the Pepper Pike office. If you need more information, please reach out to myself or Eddie Donnelly for that. And then this Friday, our Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan Black Realtor Network will be hosting an event in the third floor training room in Pepper Pike at 6:30 p.m. There is going to be a wonderful panel with Lisa Gaines, John Murchison, and Alexis Jones about where to find your next deal. I talk to agents all the time. They do 2 million, they do 10 million. Their boards, you see everyone's got their whiteboard or their opportunity funnels inside of Command are never full enough. And as real estate agents, we need to spend our time, energy, and resources continuing to replenish that and find the next deal, even as we manage our current deals. Great conversation here, open to everyone. Friday night, 6:30 p.m., third floor training room in Pepper Pike. Next Wednesday in our Rocky River office, we will host our quarterly investor mastermind. We have a great panel of agents for this one. So the investor mastermind is a community that we protect for agents who are investors, right? They own investment properties, so they do flips or rehabs, or have in some way, shape, or form engaged as an investor in real estate. And then secondly, it's for our agents who work primarily with investors. We have some agents in this company who've built really big businesses serving investors. This panel is this investor mastermind is going to be one that I'll encourage anybody and everybody who's ever taken a call from an investor to attend. We're going to focus on working with investors in this market. How do you, one, get the right commitments? How do you, two, know you're working with the right people? Three, what questions are they going to ask? How do I avoid getting run all over town? Who am I, their realtor doing transactions, or am I also the first bid contractor on this deal? We're going to have conversation with a few agents who have a lot of success and experience with investors. So if you have an investor in your pipeline as a buyer or seller, you should be there. And then our March Wealth Mastermind will be led by our very own Shaniqua Jackson. Shaniqua is a licensed and certified credit repair credit consultant. And so she'll be talking about what, one, you can do to repair your credit, right? Because we are committed not only to financial freedom in this company, but first, what we start with is financial awareness and financial acumen. And so are you in a position that you have your credit in the right spot? And then two, it can be one of the biggest dials to turn for a client when it comes to their access to finances and their rates on mortgages. So if you have people in your pipeline who might need a little tweak or a touch up, it's not, and we're not talking about people with 500 credit scores here, right? Moving from a 650 to a 750 can be the difference between getting all the house you want and need or not buying next year. So this is a massive tool in your toolkit. When we talk about working your pipeline to find the motivated, right? Somebody who's willing to go through credit repair to get themselves in a position to buy a home this year, that's a motivated person. I would take a pipeline full of those individuals. And so Shaniqua is going to take us through how to establish and repair your credit and that for your clients. And then on Tuesday, March 21st, in lieu of our sales meeting, we'll be getting together in person in Pepper Pike for our family reunion recap. So family reunion, largest real estate conference in the world, took place at the end of February. And the agents from our office who hopped on planes and went to Anaheim and attended are going to be in the room talking about their biggest takeaways, their biggest ahas, the experience, why it's a valuable endeavor to go. And then we'll be talking about some upcoming opportunities to get exposed to some great events, some events like Spring Masterminds in Pittsburgh coming up at the beginning of April, and then our mega camp, which is in Austin, Texas in August. So a lot going on, and everything that you need and more to go win in this market. When it comes to winning in this market, you don't have to do it alone. We've got some pretty good partners in the world of mortgage, especially. Throwing it over to Sean, Don, and Chris.
Actually, I think I'm the only one here.
Throwing it over to Don, the only guy who's willing to get up at the crack of 1 p.m. to meet us here. The other guys must be sleeping in.
It's how I roll. It's how I roll. Yeah, with Sean not here, I think I'm just going to give the house away, man. If you guys want rates in 4%, 5% range, come on in. No appraisal fees, no nothing. Sean would love to hear that. Let's drum up some business, people.
Let's go.
But all kidding aside, it's been a rough run up in interest rates the whole February and March right up through today. We got Jerome Powell speaking again this morning, who has indicated that it's a bumpy ride trying to get back down to 2% inflation, which I kind of want to say, no kidding. I mean, with where things are going right now. So, he says they need to speed up the interest rate rises, which I fully agree with. These 0.25% hikes aren't doing a damn thing. I think they need to get back to 50.5 right away on the next two meetings. If they really want to get this thing under control sooner than later, instead of just baby stepping it. But with that said, guys, rates are again in the upper sixes, low sevens right now. We can control those rates a little bit with some cost, i.e. points, which is the market we're in, unfortunately. But hey, people are still looking to buy. The market that sells a little bit smaller, but think positive, and let's get the spring selling season underway.
Yeah, and there, I mean, there's a ton of opportunity with what you just said there, especially for those of us who, I mean, look, if you bought a home 10 years ago, you're a first-time home buyer again. You're operating. If you bought a home in the last 10 years, you're going to have to think about things differently. And I know you touched on it there. This idea of points, right? And, there's a trade-off. You look at where are the rates today? Where could they be in the future? What's my opportunity to refinance? Okay. What if I put a little bit less down? I invested in points. How do I turn all these dials with my payment? Because, whether we like it or not, or whether we know it or not, most people are evaluating what home they buy based on the monthly payment.
Yeah, and I think I put that post out the other day on our office website about interest rates. I think I said 60% were under 5% and 6%, and I think it was 23%. I said, or 28% is under 4%. And we've got to. It's hard to convince people to put the house up for sale when they're sitting on rates in the 2% and 3% range, going to an upper sixes. But if we can find a benefit, that they need a larger house, then pay the rate temporarily. I'm not going to say, marry the house, date the rate. That crap, I hate that line. Just my thing is, as I've said before, if you're looking to buy, just buy the damn house. Work with the payment for the next 12 to 18 months, because you will refinance, hopefully to at least 1% less, and things going forward will be a little bit better for you.
Yep. When things change, they'll have the opportunity to change. And I think you nailed it. Like, there was urgency around buying when rates were really low, but that's not motivation. It created urgency, but you cannot manufacture motivation. And so when we work our sales pipeline, when we focus on, serving the client and their needs, you'll identify what the motivation is. And then you get them in touch with Sean, Don, or Chris, and they figure out the how, right?
You can't build equity until you own the asset. I mean, that's the bottom line.
That's right. All right,
Thanks,
brother.
guys.
Thank you. All right. I don't know if I saw Gina on this morning, or excuse me, this afternoon. All right. No Gina, and I see no Jess Ivans either. So as we wrap up our partner update, I sent out a note on Friday of last week regarding some changes to our title partner. And so for the last 3 years, we have had a joint venture with First Source Title called GM Title and Escrow. And we've had a wonderful partnership with that group, and they have served our agents and our clients well. And as we entered into 2023 and we looked at the landscape and the environment,
Hey, Mike, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I think that you have frozen for everyone else on the call here. Can anyone put in the chat if they can hear me or are still watching Mike?
I can hear you, and Mike
Okay.
seems to have disappeared.
Okay.
Please excuse some technical difficulties.
am I back?
He's
Yeah.
back.
Yes.
Oh, Dan, you're frozen again. Is he just playing a trick on us? Dude. Mhm.
I know. All right, he's back on. It looks like here he is. Thanks everyone for your patience. We might just be passing it over to Eddie prematurely.
It is 1:30.
I'm here. I'm here. All right. Let me get my screen share back. It's apparently loading. We're not going to share the screen. We're just gonna try not to tax the system too much. My commentary around Ohio Real Title was simply that we saw it as a great opportunity for us to provide a broader resource set to our agents to make it easier in the current market to have title not be an issue on your deals. And then finally, a way to provide a different level and layer of opportunity in terms of partnership and ownership for our agents in a time where we know that we've got a fight to stay in. For those of you who enjoyed working with GM Title and want to continue to do that, you are welcome to. They will undergo a rebrand towards the end of this month. There will continue to be opportunities for shareholding and ownership in that entity that will be irrespective and outside of anything that we do as a company. So it'd be no different than any other title company. So, Tiffany, Jade, Mike McNamara, the team there are committed to building a long and prosperous company. And we are excited to have our agents continue to support them. If you want to learn more about opportunities with Ohio Real Title, if you haven't heard from anyone on their team yet, you feel free to reach out to me, or you'll likely hear from them by the end of the week. If you have questions or you want to talk more about what led to this decision or what it means, know that it came from a mindset rooted in the beliefs of our company. We believe that this is a win-win, both for the team at First Source, the team at Ohio Real Title, our company, and you as agents. And we know that we did it in a trustworthy, honest, forthright way. It's been a conversation that's months in the making now. So no one should be concerned or alarmed or be anything other than excited about an expanding opportunity set for you as agents, and what we choose to believe is a heightened level of support for our clients. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Now we'll get on to what you all really came here for, which is the man, the myth, the legend, your director of growth and MAPS Bold coach, Eddie Donnelly. Eddie Donnelly, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, hello. And 2 steps away from Bold Coach, so almost there.
Oh, sorry, red shirt. He's a red shirt,
Yes.
shirt Bold coach. And so today we're talking about scripts for your sphere. And you as a longtime script master probably have some great perspective on that. But before we, in a minute, but not yet, as they like to say, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, right? Tell us about your business, where you're from, and what made you pursue this opportunity to be a couple steps away from being a Bold coach.
Well, I started down in Asheville, North Carolina, and I began in real estate as a listing agent. And I didn't know anyone where I lived. I had just moved down to Asheville. And so I really took to calling FSBOs and expireds. And in order to do that, I learned scripts, and we call them conversations now. We no longer say scripts.
Oh.
And yeah, so I learned the conversations around how to speak with sellers, and just really practiced and practiced and practiced until I could not get wrong. And so that built my business. In the first year, I did 13 transactions. Second year, 33. Third year, I was up at around 65. And then about 15 million in volume as a single agent, and off to the races from there. And part of that growth was due to Bold. And Bold was, I took it early on, and every time I took Bold, my business got better, and I also got better as a person. My mindset, my activities changed, and it benefited not only my business, but my family. And it was in 2020, the end of 2020, that we found out that our oldest daughter had cancer diagnosis. And so we moved to Ohio to be closer to the Cleveland Clinic. And that's what brought me to Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan and Ohio's non-reciprocal licensing. So I, took my courses over again and got relicensed in Ohio, and started the Thresholds group up here. I had the Thresholds group down in North Carolina and was doing both for a time. I've since let that North Carolina license go and have focused on Ohio. And, now that we have Thresholds group that's going, we've grown, even though we didn't get an award, we doubled our business in the last year. And so, it's going well. And
right.
Director of Growth was an opportunity that came, and an opportunity for me to learn more about the other side of the business, the leadership side. And I couldn't wait to learn from one of the best in the business. We are number one for a reason. And
Yep.
so, and that's Mr. Rapaski.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ginter. I was going to say Andrew. That's the guy.
Well,
That's the guy.
we know who's really behind Mr. Rapaski, and that's Ginter. So
that's awesome, man. Well, thank you for that, and we'll continue to look for opportunities to get you in touch and in relationship with everybody in our company as a result of you joining the leadership team in February and supporting the growth of our company. As we grow in agent count, we know, and in quality of agent, we know that grows and enriches our culture. It makes opportunities for things like Red Day that much more impactful. And so much is tied to, who we're in business with, right? What are we saying, Keller Williams? Who you're in business with matters. And I know that you take that very seriously and will help us grow in the right ways in the coming years. But when it comes to growing, let's talk about growing our business by contacting our sphere, right? So let's start first. Is there in bold, let's just go with, that's some of your experience. Whatever I get exposed to a system that might help me know when to contact the people in my sphere.
DTD2. Yep, that's Tammy Youngst and Steve Schleter from Never Ending Referrals. They created that system. It's promoted pretty heavily in bold. I use it personally. Every week, my assistant gives me a list of people to call. I also have everyone tagged inside a command in order to go through command and talk to the people without bias. That's the whole point of DTD2, is to call people once a quarter with, and that's part of your 36 touch program. And 36 to convert, that's the most important touch, is the personal contact.
So tell me,
you know
why is that?
Well, if you don't do a personal contact, it's a drip campaign. So the rest of it's just a drip campaign, and you get a 1% conversion on a drip campaign.
Wow.
If you do that first part, that 4 contacts, it's a 16.4% conversion rate.
Yeah. So if you would like a more than 1,600% increase in your business, we pick up the phone and we call.
Yes.
That's awesome. So you say DTD2. I know that stands for Do the Database 2.
That is correct.
But how exactly does it break down? I mean, just give me like what's a week in the life look like?
Okay. Essentially, how many letters in the alphabet?
26 the last time I checked, but I've been out of school for a couple of years.
Okay. And if you take 2 of those letters associated with people's last names and break that down by half, how many is that?
That would mean there were 13 sets of 2.
Okay. And how many weeks in a quarter?
Carry the 1. That would be 13 as well.
All right. So essentially what you're doing is they figured out statistically how many names start with each letter, and they worked it so you have approximately the same number of calls every week based on the statistics around people's last names. And you get 2 letters each week and a texting letter, and you call those letters that week. Just everyone in there that has the last name that starts with either of those letters. It's like A and W, B and E, those kind of things. So you go through and call those people. And if you go through all the way through, you've called everyone in your database that quarter. And then it starts over again the next quarter. And so every quarter you contact everyone in your database.
That is, I love that. And I love that for a lot of reasons. So I want to make sure I understand it correctly. Like if I've got Amy Adams in my database, right? And it's the first week of the quarter, I've got, I'm going to just pick up the phone. I'm going to call Amy and then she's going to answer. She's not going to answer. I'm going to leave voicemail. She might call me back. And a lot of things could happen from there. But then the next person I'm going to call is, Sean Adams. Okay. Sean and I went to high school together. I'm going to talk to Sean. And then all the way through, I get through all my A's and all my W's. And then I've made my calls for the week.
That is correct.
Okay. That's exciting. Now we get into the fun part. So real quick, if anybody that wants to learn more about this, we'll post some content in the Facebook group and some links to some other resources around it. Just so you know, if you didn't know, the second quarter starts in about 25 days. So if you were like, hey, that sounds really cool, and knowing who to call, when to call them, and why to call them, sounds like it would make my phone maybe not weigh 500 pounds every time I pick it up to call somebody. what you can do is you can take the next 21 days, 25 days and get yourself set up so that you could call. And maybe you don't like the DTD2. Maybe the idea of and you had a really bad root beer experience and you don't want to do A&W. That's fine. There's other ways to set this up. The point is you're taking call bias out of it. And every day you wake up and you have somebody to call. Now, Eddie, let's talk about what do you say when you call them?
Well, there are lots of things, and I think Carrie actually has some conversation starters and some dialogues that can go into the chat box. And at the same time, there's the forward conversation. So family, occupation, recreation, dreams. These are people you know. If they're in your sphere, you already know them. And, an easy conversation is, Michael, so when's the last time you went down and saw your parents? I know you do that quite often. How's that, when's the last time?
Oh, let's see. I went down a couple weeks ago. I'm actually headed down this week.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And how are they doing?
They're doing well, man. They're doing well. What about you? How's Mo? How's the missus?
Oh, good. Actually, she's getting a real estate license and she's joining the business.
Oh, wow. So business is good.
Yeah, business is good. The wife is coming on. So,
right.
and that leads me to this is, as far as business, I know you've been in your home for a little bit now. Prices are up. Have you thought about making a move, taking advantage of the equity?
I haven't. I haven't, but I would. I mean, you know me, man. I'm a like a tumbleweed. I'm always willing to move.
Well, good. When's a good time for us to get together and talk?
Let's do coffee next week.
So it's simple.
Yep.
I see it in the chat. You can
Yep.
talk about family. You can talk about work. You can talk about when's your. I saw on Facebook you had a vacation, although Michael doesn't take vacation, so I'm just making that up. So I saw you had a vacation, or what are your goals this year? I actually had a great conversation with one of our agents today about their goals and what they want to do and accomplish in their business.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all great things that you can key in on. Now, remember, there are, 3 things that you really want to pay attention to when you're making the call. And, what value are you bringing? What are you offering? What is the value that you're going to give that person from the call? Because at the end of the call, you want them to leave the call saying, I love it when that person calls me because I get so much out of it every time. Because as agents, we often feel when we call our sphere that we're bothering them.
Yeah.
And if you have the idea that I'm going to provide value in this call, then that takes away from the I'm bothering them because you feel that you're giving them something.
Yep.
The second thing is think about the relationship you have with that person before you make the phone call. What is your relationship with them? Do they know, like, and trust you? And if that's the case, how can you deepen that relationship with that phone call? Because that's the goal. Because remember, we're in the relationship business until they need real estate help, and then we're in the real estate business.
God,
and the last part to it, the third, is what's your objective? What do you want to accomplish from the call? Do you want a referral? Do you want to find out from them if they have real estate to buy or sell or know someone? Or do you simply want them to offer an endorsement? Because think about it this way. If your sister, brother, mother, friend, someone you know endorse someone online, aren't you more likely to trust whatever they endorsed and trust that person? So they may know someone who you want to work with. And if they do, with their endorsement and that person says, oh, they gave them a good rating online and they recognize that name, now they trust you a little bit more. So remember, there's what's your relationship, what value you're bringing, and what objective do you have for the call?
Yeah, I love that. I want to unpack a couple things there. I put it in the chat, but we're in the relationship business until they need us. Then we're in the real estate business. And I think that if anyone out there knows how to time who to call and when to call people so that you only talk to them whenever they need to buy or sell their house. If you figure that out, let the rest of us know, because you haven't, and no one has, and no one ever will. So the key is that we stay in relationship with people long enough to when they have a need, we're able to serve them, right?
We actually talked about that. There's a real estate lead generation cycle.
Yeah.
And you get the lead, and that can take anywhere from 0 to 6 months to get an actual lead. Because who in the chat has gotten a lead, or someone that said they were interested in real estate online, and it took you 6 months to actually get them to have a two-way conversation with you? It's taken me a year before. So, it can take you a while to actually get that lead into the follow-up cycle. And the lead follow-up cycle, that can take 7 to 10 years. Now think about that. You have a client that just bought or sold a house. We know on average in the US, Michael, how long does it take for how long do people average live in their homes in the US?
I think you just said between 7 and 10 years, right?
Exactly. So if they just bought or sold a house, you've got to be in the relationship and the conversation with them for 7 to 10 years before they may need your services again. And then when you're in the transaction phase, you've got anywhere from 4 to 6 months. And I know everyone in here says, oh, it takes 30 to 45 days for a transaction. What if it took them 3 months to find a house because there are 20 people lined up for every home? Mm-hmm. So, it can take a while. So your follow-up process is a whole cycle. And that 7 to 10 years, that's that relationship period.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is the psychology behind the referral, right? And because that is in that 7 to 10 year period, know that in statistically speaking, right? The people in your database, the people in your sphere are anywhere from 2 to 3 times more likely to refer you business than do business with you. Simply based on that 7 to 10 year cycle, right? That 7 to 10 year cycle says, yeah, they'll do business with you when they need to. But in the meantime, we have 2 really, really strong human desires. We want to look good and we want to be right. Now, what's cool is that a referral to an expert, a referral to a professional, a referral to somebody that does really good business allows us to do both of those things, right? When I say, right, use Denise, she's an outstanding realtor, and then she gets that business, she gets that opportunity, and she treats that referral like it's gold. Guess what those people that I referred would say? Oh my God, Mike, thanks so much. Denise was outstanding. You gave a great referral. Well, I mean, now, to the extent that it is possible, I looked good, but more importantly, I was right. Right. And so that's why people like giving referrals, and they like to give referrals on people that they know, like, and trust. Right. So I think, some brilliant takeaways there. And then also, knowing what your objective is, right? Like, I would say everybody on this call could get off the call, grab those 2 images we shared, hop on the phone and say, hey, Eddie, how you doing, man?
Well,
hey, listen, I wanted to reach out to you because I'm a little bit concerned. There's this nasty rumor going around, and it's getting pushed in the media about affordability for homes. And I know you're a pretty connected guy. And so you probably know a lot of people who are at various stages and ages of life. But I just want to I'm trying to spread the word. Affordability in Northeast Ohio is better than anywhere else in the United States. So if you talk about or hear about anybody concerned about mortgage prices are so high, or the house you get for your dollar, that's just not true. And I want to, and because I know you're a connector, because I know you're a cool guy, I wanted to make sure you knew that, in case anybody that is considering buying or selling, and they get something out of mainstream media that's going to back them off.
Mike, I appreciate that. And that's great information. And you know what? I don't want to mess it up. So I'll make sure I just send them back to you. If they have any questions, I'll just have them call you.
That would be awesome. I would love to do that because I'm on a crusade about this. I think there's a lot of people who are missing out on the miracle of America, which is home ownership, because of information that they're getting, out of the old idiot box, as my grandpa used to call it. And seen, right? The idea here is that, you can pick, and that's a very aggressive call. There's no forward script there, but the idea is, what's your objective? Well, my objective is and that call was to just battle an overarching narrative with real data about the local real estate market. Cool. Now, is Eddie going to jump off his seat and go buy a different house because affordability is so great in Cleveland? No. And the next person he talks to that brings up, interest rates, or oh, you know what? Because what did I just arm Eddie with the opportunity to do? Look good and be right. Oh, you know what? That's driven by the coast. It's not the same here in Northeast Ohio. So I think, every piece of data that you consume or everything that every time you sell a house, you've got a way to add value to talk about your experience, what's happening, what didn't happen, what was different. Yeah.
And before we go, I do want to touch on social media.
Okay.
Lead generation can look like a lot of different things. It can be face-to-face, it can be over the phone, it could be, video, and social media, most people are on it. And if we follow the 10-10-5 rule, and that's 10 likes or 10 loves on posts of people, and then 10 comments, and then 5 shares every day. And if you do that in a purposeful way, and say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes and I'm going to do 10 likes, 10 comments, 10 shares. And remember, comments, there's an algorithm on Facebook that when you comment and it's over 5 words, then it has more weight and it connects you better. If it's less than 5 words, then you don't get the same connection algorithm that Facebook does for 5 words or more. So, those things, if you can do those things, then that's also engagement. That's also touching your sphere. And remember, don't post and ghost. If someone responds or they comment on it or they like your stuff, don't just leave. Talk to them, engage them, say, it's a great way for you to have that other conversation. And if you can, we talk about 20 contacts a day in bold. If you can make 10 of those contacts in social media because you are communicating person to person, then you're halfway done with your goal for the day. So, and you can do that in 15 minutes and then interact throughout the rest of the day. So social media is a great way to engage with your sphere in a way that may be more comfortable than picking up the phone sometimes. Because you can go on there and say, oh, I saw you guys, little Johnny graduated high school, and remember, live events precipitate real estate events.
Yeah, it's really the only thing that does, right? Another factor or on that, I want to hammer that point home is that a lot of us might have a pretty big sphere of influence that we don't have in our cell phone or we don't have in our command database, right? So when you get engagement from someone, you can drive from a post, the comment section of a post, drive into the DMs or the direct message or messenger portion of it, because another benefit to getting into somebody's messages is that Facebook will recognize that as a deeper relationship and promote more of your post to that person in their algorithm. And then 2, you can get from the DM to, hey, I want to send you some stuff in the mail. I need your address. Hey, I want to shoot you. I want to hop on the phone with you. Can I call you? Right. And then you get their full contact information, which then drives your 36 to convert campaign.
I want to answer Craig's message. It says, is it still considered a contact if there's no conversation about real estate? No. And so short answer is no, it is not considered a contact. And at the same time, it's a conversation starter. And so the contact comes in the conversation. And, again, if you angle it in a way that you're saying, okay, we're going to talk about you. I'm going to provide you value. And at a certain point, it usually comes up, oh, how's business? How's the market? If you're not a secret agent, more than likely they're going to ask, because what are they talking about in the news above anything else? The shifting market, recession, all the things that people are concerned about with real estate. So generally it's going to come up. So don't be a secret agent. That actually is another great way to generate leads, is just wear a name badge, wear a logo, wear something that indicates that you are a real estate agent. It can drive conversation just by people you pass on the street.
Love that. Love that. Make yourself a free billboard for your own business.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. All right. Any last remarks for the good of the order here on scripting and working and talking into my database or my sphere?
You mentioned command and contacts. Does everyone know what the 201 contact or 201 plus club is?
One club.
So
I would venture a guess that not 100% of the room does. So
okay. So since we have command and all agents have to put their deals into command, and we have over 180,000 agents in the US alone, command has it's on an AI platform, and it's actually compiled the data. And it knows that agents that have certain amounts of people in their database make certain amounts of money. And so when you're looking at an agent with, 50 to 100 people in their database, they make about $50,000. If they have 150 to 200 people in their database, they make about $88,000. Now, once you get over at 201, something happens. Your finances grow exponentially. So your GCI at 201 is $119,000. So you go from 87 at 150 to 200 to 119 at 201. So just having 201 people in your database can ensure that you have a six-figure income, as long as you actively engage that database.
yeah, it's one of the most powerful things in real estate, is that there is so much opportunity that takes seemingly so little to activate. And the key is, as Eddie said, they got to be in your database and being communicated to, which is why, maybe for you, it's starting with a 10-10-5 on Facebook until you add 4 or 5 people a day. Guys, if you add 5 people a day to your database, Monday through Friday, for the rest of the month, you'd be above 200. And you could work that database for acres and acres of diamonds and have the business that you need.
Exactly.
Excellent. Eddie, thank you so much. Greatly appreciated of you lending your expertise, sharing your story, and being a part of our team. So
It's my pleasure.
And we will see you guys next Tuesday. We're going to talk all about generating leads through command, which helps you build your database and drives your now and future business. So tune back in next week, 3/14, 1 p.m. We'll see you there.